There's another thing that should be addressed I'd like to point out now, and that is the way that the Young Turks label their videos. The words they choose to describe what's in the video is extremely telling. Let's analyze this. Look at what they call this video. They have called this video, Christian tries to blow up mosques in Israel to fulfill biblical prophecy. Now that sounds pretty clickbaity. I like how they say Christian tries to blow up. Like, yeah, he was trying to blow up the mosque. Like, he was hovering over the bomb in the mosque, and he just couldn't get the lighter to work. Tries to blow up, or plotted, or, or just had an idea. So under questioning, an idea came about, and the guy couldn't even buy explosives, but that's trying to blow up, I guess. More sensational that way. And he's a Christian. It's labeled right there, plain as day. So he is a Christian, and he's trying to blow up a mosque. And why? They give you the reason right here. To fulfill biblical prophecy. The guy's being evaluated for mental health issues, but that's not the point. Cenk's not about that. Even though he does that for every Muslim that commits an act, he instantly says, oh, they're a mental case. No, in this case, the guy is fully lucid. He has no mental health issues. He's just fulfilling biblical prophecy. Therefore, biblical prophecy in Christianity is an insane cult. Not dissimilar to Islam. So therefore, anytime a Muslim person does something horrible, we shouldn't talk about it. Why? Because this fat ass thought about buying some explosives. Okay, so let's just see, just for fun, let's see what the Young Turks have labeled other videos. For example, okay, the situation in Nigeria. You got Boko Haram. They are kidnapping teens and they're forcing them to marry. Okay, these are Muslims kidnapping women and forcing them to marry based on the ultra-patriarchal ideas expressed in the Quran and under the authority of Allah. So surely the title is going to say, Muslims kidnap teen girls, force them to marry due to Islamic doctrine. And the title is, Kidnapped Teen Girls Forced to Marry. What? Doesn't proper journalism dictate that you should give like a who, what, when, why, where? There's no who. Who kidnapped the teen girls? Surely that's an oversight. That's got to be an oversight. There's no who and there's no why. So it is, I'll fill it in. Muslims in Nigeria kidnapped teen girls, forced them to marry, and justified it by Muslim doctrines. Thank you. Much better. Moving on. Okay, the guy in the streets of London who was butchered to death. The Royal Guard happened recently in the south of London, where they took the guy out of his car and basically beheaded him in the streets of London. Killed him point blank. They did it for Muslim reasons. They did it as a revenge killing. These guys were jihadists. They were tied to all sorts of Muslim extremist groups. They told the camera why they did it, and it was for religious reasons. So the video title on that's got to be Muslim Men Kill British Soldier. Muslim men kill British soldier in an act of jihad. That's got to be the title, right? Let's see. Terrorism, soldier brutally butchered in the street. Unthinkable. Terrorism, that's the takeaway. That's the interesting part of this. Can this act be called terrorism? What the hell? Who gives a shit what you call it? You can call it a chocolate-covered rose if you want. Two guys just butchered somebody in the streets for religious reasons. Who fucking cares if you call that terrorism? Of course it's terrorism. Soldier brutally butchered in the street. Again, no who and no why. Let me fill in, Cenk. I'll help you out there. Your title is short. I don't know why. You just chose to leave out some critically important things. Let me fill that in. Muslim jihadists brutally butcher soldier in the street because they're Muslim jihadists. Let me finish that off. That's the who and the why. So I'll give you another chance, though. Okay, the situation in Canada. Situation in Canada, you got another Muslim jihadist, a guy who is a believer of Islam, who acted out, told the world why he was acting out, and it was for his Islamic views, and he was a big fan of ISIS. And surely the title of this one has got to be Muslim jihadist goes on gun rampage, kills innocent people in support of his faith, in defense of his faith. No, Canada attacked. The gun law role and the terrorism question? Huh? You're talking gun law and terrorism, and it's just Canada's attacked. By what? We don't know. Acid rain? Perhaps. Polar bears? Could be. We don't know because they didn't want to tell us who attacked Canada. And again, I will fill in. It's Muslim jihadists attack Canada because they were trying to defend Islam and were trying to get a revenge kill or spread horror and terror and form a new caliphate. Okay? Maybe it's a bit long of a title, but that's what happened. I'll give you another chance. The crazed Muslim gunman at Fort Hood. How about the guy who shot everybody up? Why? Because he was offended that we were in Muslim countries. Who knows? The guy's a jihadist. The guy is a Muslim murderer. One of many. How do they mention it? This video is called, "Should Fort Hood Shooter Been Racially Profiled?" What? What? We're talking about the racial profiling after he's died of a murderous butcher, of a murderer. And anonymous. Religion doesn't come into it. That's why it happened. Don't get it twisted. That's why it happened, but it's not mentioned. He was just a shooter. Fort Hood shooter. That's who he was. Was he a man? Who knows? Woman? I don't know. Could have been a baby. Could have been a baby with a gun. Religion? Religion's not involved. So wait, why then is this story a Christian tries to blow up mosques in Israel to fulfill biblical prophecy? Why is there a who and a why here? Why isn't this terror plan to blow up mosques thwarted? That seems fairly neutral and in par with how you seem to cover these other stories. Interesting. Let's move on. Here we go. More on the religiously mysterious Fort Hood shooter. Why the Fort Hood shooter was able to buy a gun despite mental health issues. Okay, right. So that whole bitch session you just went on about how we're claiming that this Christian guy is crazy, it applies here though, because the Fort Hood guy, even though he was a Muslim, and he was doing what he was doing because of his ideas as a Muslim, no, he was just a mental health person. He was a guy who had mental health issues, and that's why he did it. And let's not really talk, it's nothing to do with Islam. It's not, in fact, let's not even talk about religion. Let's talk about guns. Quick, deflect, run away to change the topic. Oh my God. Okay, the Boston bombing. That's pretty plain and simple. You have radical Muslim extremists, 2 young jihadists in Boston, inspired exclusively by Islam and Muslim terror groups around the world. That video title has to be something along those lines. And what do we get? Boston Marathon bombing. How we react right now matters. So, the marathon has been bombed. It's the Boston Marathon bombing. These guys didn't do it. There is no who and there is no why. You know why? Because the who and the why is a topic that Cenk doesn't want to address. The who and the why is a problem. He might throw out a what. Oh, here's the what. The Boston Marathon, there was a bombing. That's all you're getting. Okay? You're not going to get the critically important information of who did it and why. You're just going to get a what. Or you have the beautiful, it just gets worse. It's unbelievable. You get the Muslims in Pakistan who found out that some couple, a Christian couple, had discarded a Quran. And they said, oh my God, that's blasphemy. Let's kill these people. Let's not only kill them, let's beat them and let's burn them to death. So that's what happened. A group of Muslims beat and burned alive a couple Christians for exclusively Islamic reasons. They did it because they are Muslims. And how did the Young Turks cover that story? Here it is. Couple beaten, burned by mob for blasphemy. Okay, what? Okay, well, first of all, they were a Christian couple. That's hugely important. And the mob, this anonymous mob of people, was a Muslim mob. And it's not just blasphemy. Nobody gets killed and burned and beaten for blasphemy. Only do you get that in the Muslim world. So for blaspheming the Quran would have been a more appropriate response. But I've covered this in another video. Another ridiculous, shameful example. Now, oh my God, and I'm going to do a video on this one too, the Sydney hostage crisis. That's what they call it. It's not a Muslim jihadist who has gone into a cafe in Sydney and just gone ballistic and killed people because of Islam. No. Holding up flags, by the way, celebrating Allah and talking about his religious faith, like that is clear as day. No, it's the hostage crisis in Sydney. It just happened. It's almost like the Boston bombing. It just happened. There was a bomb. There might have been a human involved. No, it just happened. It's the Sydney hostage crisis. It may have dangerous unintended effects. So we're not worried about the victims. We're not worried about innocent people being slain in the streets by Muslims. No, it's probably about the innocent, the good ones, the moderate Muslims who are having problems getting to work because they're dealing with harassment. That's a bigger issue there. Yeah, right. Ridiculous. Non-stop disgracefulness from the Turks. Good job.